Bad Blood: Secrets and Lies in a Silicon Valley Startup by John Carreyrou unveils the gripping and scandalous story of Theranos, a once celebrated Silicon Valley biotech company founded by Elizabeth Holmes. The narrative begins with the rise of Theranos, hailed as a revolutionary healthcare company, promising to revolutionize blood testing with a breakthrough technology that could perform a multitude of tests using just a few drops of blood. However, as investigative journalist John digs deeper, the facade starts to crumble. The book exposes the company's elaborate web of deceit, revealing that Theranos technology didn't work as claimed, putting patients at risk, and ultimately leading to a massive fraud. At the heart of the story is Elizabeth Holmes, portrayed as a charismatic and ambitious leader who managed to deceive investors, partners, and the public. As John meticulously revealed the layers of deception, the narrative unfolds with shocking revelation about the culture of secrecy, manipulation, and ethical compromises that permeated the company. The book serves as a cautionary tale about the consequences of unchecked ambition and the importance of ethical conduct in the business world. Welcome to Learning from the Masters. I am Obehi Ewanfoh, author of The Storytelling Mastery, a 5-part book series that takes you by the hands through the journey of storytelling. This series is dedicated to some of the greatest masters out there who have done their best and have left behind their masterpieces for us to learn from while refining our own skills. To learn more, join our Storytelling Mastery for businesses at academy.aclasses.org/storytellingmastery. You can also pick up any of the 5 books on aclasses.org or any other place you prefer online. Now back to the presentation. Now here are 4 key lessons from the book, and make sure you pay attention to every one of them. Lesson 1. Establish a relatable protagonist. In Bad Blood, the author, John Carreyrou, effectively used a relatable protagonist to guide reader through the narrative. The protagonist in this case is Tyler Schultz, a young employee at Theranos who became increasingly uneasy about the company's deceptive practices. There is an article you might consider reading. It's titled "Whistleblower Help Dismantle Biotech Juggernaut Theranos in His Zero Strategy Defense." From the article, you will read the following. The company dominated news cycle from its inception in 2003 to its epic downfall beginning in 2015. Theranos, the blood testing startup once valued at $9 billion, fell from grace after allegations came to light that its technology was a fraud. You can read the full story at fraudmagazine.com. Now, this is the takeaway for you. By focusing on Shaw's perspective, Carreyrou humanized the story and allowed readers to empathize with someone navigating a challenging ethical dilemma. Application for business: incorporate relatable character into your business story. Highlight employee or customer who face and overcome challenges, emphasizing their humanity and resilience. This personal touch helps audience connect emotionally with your brand, fostering trust and engagement. Lesson 2. Build suspense and tension. Carreyrou masterfully built suspense through Bad Blood by revealing information gradually. You see, you don't want to just offload all the information on the people at once. Even though the information might be valuable, it might be too much for the people to consume. So for this reason, we are going to do the delicate balance of showing information, entertainment, and educating the people at the same time by gradually revealing the key information one thing at a time. To effectively do this, I want you to imagine that you are taking somebody from point A to point B, or what is often regarded as transformation in your storytelling. You don't just want to pour all the information to your listener or to your audience at once. So consider that you are taking them from one point to the other. And for you to move from one point to the other, you need to journey. You need to delicately balance the difference between the information you are bringing, the suspense, and what the people are feeling. So if you read this book, you see that the author strategically withheld some detail, and this creates a sense of anticipation and urgency. And as the story unfolds, readers are eager to uncover the next piece of the puzzle, driving them to stay engaged until the very end. This is something that you must do. And this is very effective to the success of the story. Application for business: structure your story to create suspense. Whether revealing a new product, sharing company's achievement, or narrating a journey, gradually reveal the key information. And if you have read my 5-part book series now, The Storytelling Mastery, you understand how we dedicated a good portion of the story to talk about how to structure your story. Now, talking of structure, I want you to look at a building, a house, or even there are natural elements that help us understand what is meant by structure. Look at a mountain, for example. In nature, there are this pattern that you can see, like a contour line in a geographical map, which basically show you the up and down of the structure that you are having. So this is also the way that you set up your story, is that it's not just a straight line. You delicately balance the high and the lows of your story. There are some times that the emotions are high, there are the times that the emotions are low. Because if it is just flat, if the story is just flat, there is not going to be any intrigue, there is not going to be any energy in the story that is going to pull the people along. It's going to be very boring very easily. So for that reason, you are going to make sure that the way you structure your story, you are going to layer it with different energy, high, low, and sometimes you are going down, sometimes you are going up. This is just a picture that you, as I close my eyes, I can even see a picture of a mountain. I can see a picture of a house. I can see a picture of water, for example, a water that is flowing. If water is put on a flat surface, it will never flow. Where is it going to flow to? Water flows because there is a valley, there is a mountain, there is a high, there is a low. That is why the water flows. And as the water flows, if you pay attention to it, you see that there are patterns in it. It's not just a flat surface all across. Because if it is a flat surface, it's not going to flow. And if your story is just on a flat surface without the high and the low, it's not going to land with the people. The people are not going to be able to follow you and have the energy to accompany you to the end of it. So make sure that you replicate those same elements of nature in your story. I am saying make sure that are highs and low in your story. Make sure that you build tension. Make sure that you bring conflict to be resolved, and make sure you resolve them at the end of the day. That is what you do as a storyteller. That is how to make sure that the people are interested in your story. And this is what makes your audience to remain hooked and invested in the narrative and make your story more memorable and impactful. Now, what about lesson 3? Well, in lesson 3, I want to talk about vivid and descriptive language. And we can never overstate this. And I've said it a number of times, both in the 5-part book series or in our audio room where we talk about storytelling all the time. So Carreyrou in this book employ vivid and descriptive language to paint a clear picture of the event in Bad Blood. He detailed storytelling allow reader to visualize the character, setting, and action, thereby immersing them in the story. Application in business. Bring your business story to life by incorporating vivid and descriptive languages. Instead of presenting dry fact, use storytelling techniques to make your narrative more engaging. You see, it is not just about throwing all the information out there to the people. I want to repeat that again. You need to make sure that while you are giving them the information, you are also entertaining them. You see, there is one thing I say quite often in our audio room, that I happen to have grown up in a place where we have the chance to be able to sit around the elders where they are talking about some some issue, of course, that are not too delicate, because if the issue are too delicate, you don't allow everybody to be there. Okay, I'm talking about children particularly now, because as a child, I was always very interested in learning how people talk, in learning how the elders, for example, talk and resolve issue. And this is one of the things I have really come to appreciate a lot, sitting around the elders when they talk. And what I learned there is that they don't just shoot out the information straightforward like that. Instead, they wrap it around situation. They have a way of explaining it, either a line of words that they will say to explain the situation. You can actually use several paragraphs to explain that. The person that is talking and the person that is listening both understand the drama that is embedded in the story. So they are using storytelling techniques to help them convey information that is not just on a surface level, but that is layered into several steps. But if you are in that culture, if you understand what they are talking about, you understand what is being said here. But if you are coming from an outside now, you see that there is a seal. You are not able to penetrate the information that they are passing to you. If you read book like Things Fall Apart, you will understand also how Chinua Achebe layers some of the story, buried it actually in the story that he is talking about. In that this deep Igbo culture is not just on a surface for everybody to just grasp like that. You need to understand first the language, understand how the people construct their senses and sentences for you to understand what they are talking about there. So it is important that as a storyteller, you are not just throwing out the information in dry facts. Of course, the people want to know the facts, no? But you need to layer the facts in situation in a way that you entertain the people, you give them the joy of listening to you, you surprise them a little bit, but of course you also give them the information in a way that they can be satisfied at the end of the day. So whether you are describing your company's history or product development or your customer journey, make it memorable and enjoyable so that it can be appealing to the senses and sensibility of the people. This is a better way to tell story in your business. And this is why storytelling works in business, because otherwise we could just say 10%, 20%, 5 people, 10 people, 20 people, come, buy, go. But no, those are not going to work. The customer have become too sophisticated for those kind of dry information. So you need to appeal to their emotion. You need to speak to them. You need to arouse their emotion. And all this can only happen when you go beyond just the dry fact. Now, what about lesson 4? There I will talk about prioritizing ethical narrative. Because you know your audience, you know who you are talking to, you know what makes sense to them, and you even know where they hang out. You know what is going to make them angry, you know what is going to make them happy, you know what they consider important, and you know what they consider irrelevant. In Bad Block, the author revolves around the ethical dilemma faced by individuals at Theranos. So John highlights the importance of ethics in business storytelling by shedding light on the consequences of deceptive practices. And this is what the entire story is about, in that when you are in business, you don't need to deceive people. Okay, we talk about story that you need to surprise people and all of that, but not in a negative sense, in that you don't need to take money away from the people without giving them fulfill the promises that you have made to them. Because in business, you are helping the people to resolve a problem. If that is what you say you are going to do by being in business, you need to make sure that you do that. If you do not do that, the people are not going to be happy. And that would mean a deception, is that you just take money away from them without giving them the equivalent value that you promised to them. Like, for example, you tell them that I am taking money away from you so that I will give you a product that is going to help you solve the problem. If that product is not actually solving the problem, then you don't have any reason for taking the money from them, because they gave you their money because your product was supposed to solve a problem for them. It should not be really very complicated. And of course, now, there are some people out there who are in the business of cheating other people. They are in the business of deceiving other people. And the lesson here, therefore, is that we need to understand that there are ethical practices in business. We need to understand that there are value to be protected. We need to understand that you are not just out there to cheat people just because you are smart, just because you are able to speak high grammar and deceive people. It is not allowed, because if we allow that to happen, somebody who need money can just get a gun and break into a bank and get all the money and get away with that. Nobody wants to live in that kind of a society, because that will lead to anarchy. Either somebody is going on the way with his car, another person can just take a gun and waylay him on the road and say, give me the key, your life or the car. Then the person go away with that. Of course, something like that does happen, but there are punishment for those kind of activity. When those people are arrested by the law enforcement agency, they are taken to the law court. The law decide what is going to happen to those kind of people. And the reason for doing that is to make sure that the society is protected, is to make sure that the common value that are defined as a way of life of the people is respected. If it doesn't happen, then that society will grow into chaos. Nobody wants to live in a chaotic situation. So in business, we need to respect the ethics and value of the people. So the book, therefore, serves as a cautionary tale, emphasizing the significance of maintaining integrity in business. What is the application? Well, incorporate ethical consideration in your business narrative. You could do this by showcasing how your company upholds value and principle, and share stories that reflect your commitment to transparency and honesty. What more can you do there? Well, why don't prioritize ethical narrative? You could build trust with your audience by fostering long-term relationship, and therefore position your brand perception. Let the people know what you represent and why you are what you are. This is a good way of doing business. Did you learn anything from this lesson today? Well, share with me in the comment section below. I am really curious to understand what is your takeaway from this video. To learn more, join our storytelling mastery for businesses at academy.aclasses.org/storytelling.